All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every day by OURA Ring. I'm one of your hosts, Lance Armstrong, sitting here with JB Hager and George Hincapie. We're talking about stage 20 from...
Stage 20, l'Ure to la Planche des Belles Filles.
L'Ure to la Planche des Belles Filles, the board of the beautiful women. I looked it up this morning on Google Translate. I want to get into this. And yes, I'm speechless. I think we're all speechless. The three of us are speechless.
So
that's
the show. We're good.
Yeah, it's going to be a very silent show. This was a performance of the ages, and maybe one of the best, if not the best ever. Yeah. So, like I say, each and every day, today's show brought to you by OURA Ring. Love this product. I get tons of data out of it, whether it's sleep data, recovery data, activity data, all the metrics, core temp, respiratory rate, sleep stages and cycles, latency, total time, et cetera, et cetera. Head on over to auraring.com, auraring.com. Send us your data. Today's show also brought to you by PowerDot. I'm going to need a PowerDot on my brain, or my heart, actually, and I'm going to get into this and how I feel for Primož Roglic. It's next level, but PowerDot, incredible story. We invested in this company a long time ago. Continue to be so proud of the work they're doing. A bunch of athletes in the tour using it. NFL, Major League Baseball, PGA. This thing's the size of I fit it in my Merce, no problem. Just for a few $100, total recovery. Integrated with Strava and Apple Health. 30-day money-back guarantee, too. So if you're not happy, send it back. Head on over to powerdot.com/themove. Buy code there is THEMOVE, 20% off. Last one here for a sec. So proud of this company as well. Hammerhead, I just got an email last night. The pre-release sold out in hours. The waiting list is growing and growing. For cycling head units, this is a game changer, right? Whatever you're riding now is your grandmama's flip phone. This is the iPhone 11, maybe the 12. The 12 I hear is about to come out. They're giving away 3 of these. So head on over to hammerhead.io/ride for more. Register to win. 40% smaller than the Karoo 1. This is the Karoo 2. Yeah, baby. Speaking of head units, my head unit is on full tilt boogie. Right. I cannot believe what I just witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, like you said at the start of the show, I mean, we're all speechless. I was personally heartbroken. My man over here to my right, Mr. No Heart, was also heartbroken. Never seen him like this.
Mr. No Heart.
I mean,
no, you had to feel for and I look, I'll admit, and I'm not afraid to admit this, and I'm not afraid to admit that I have emotion, and I'll get to that in a second. But I'm a fan of Roglic, and I'm a fan of Pogacar, but I picked Roglic, not because I picked him to win, but you want to like this guy, his whole story, his whole trajectory. I thought he had it. You saw him just clearly off his game. We know what happens, right? You're losing time. You're getting the communication in your earpiece, and it's just a miserable feeling. You can't stop. You can't pull over. You got it. It's a ride through hell. And so I felt awful for the guy. And George, you're giving me shit, but a couple, like the beginning of the tour, our friend Willie Walker came over and his wife gave us both one of these books. It's called Permission to Feel. And this is all about, there's 2 things, right, in the about humans. We have IQ and we have EQ, right? And so I'm raising my emotional intelligence. Truth be told, I haven't cracked the book, but just looking at it, looking at it, I'm nicer.
You defer to the book every time I mention.
I'm nicer, and so man, straight up, I'm heartbroken for him.
I mean, we were watching this shit. I'm even cursing. I'm just so distraught about it. Our buddy Papa had one of the best lines I've ever heard. He said, Primus's light, his oh shit light was on full bright red going up that climb. I'm like, what are you thinking? Lance, you've been in this position, and I remember in particular 2003. Let's go back to the warm-up. Like, what's going through your head? You were warming up. Ulrich had just pummeled you in the time trial before that, about a week before that. You don't have a big lead in the overall. Like, what's going on in your mindset? I would think would be similar to what Primož was going through today.
Straight terrified.
Terrified.
Jan Ulrich, and I don't know how we got it. I think we put a guy at the 1K mark. He put 6 seconds into me in the first kilometer. So we had to go 50K. So I'm doing the math going, oh, I'm fucked.
This
is over.
I was watching the same thing.
And he kept putting time into me, and then I leveled it out. But I still thought that's not going to be enough. And then, unfortunately for Jan, he crashed. But when I got it over the radio that he had slid out and crashed, I mean, it was this, and not to be relieved over somebody's crash, but it was this massive sense of relief. But that, in the rain.
But how do you get through that oh shit bright light moment?
Man,
when the first 10 kilometers, it's pouring rain.
Terrible.
Like you got to.
I wanted to be about a million different places than there. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I just, and one thing too, I mean, hats off to Roglic, came over to Tadej Pogacar after, as he was in the interview room, and gave him a hug and said, "Great job." Well, I tell you one thing, I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't be doing that. But this is a class guy. I've said it 5,000 times this morning. I cannot believe what I just saw.
No, we're all in shock. You got to think about where Primo's head is at right now. 30 years old. He just got beat by his fellow countryman who's 21 years old.
Who had nothing to lose.
I mentioned it to you earlier. I don't think we'll ever see Primoz get this chance again. I mean, you got all these young guys coming up. Pogacar, is he going to keep getting better? The question for me that I have right now is, how does somebody like that at 21 years old, I mean, historically, we've seen riders peaking at 30. So your mental state is a bit different. How did you go through 7 years? Because you became obviously an overnight rock star in 99. But for me, the most impressive thing, with all your commitments, all your celebrity status, all this bullshit, how did you, stay focused for 7 years?
I agree. It was
years.
Bullshit.
But no, seriously, 7 years. You stayed on it. And for somebody at 21 years old,
to handle
we saw
all
potentially what happened with Bernal. I mean, is it too much for a 21-year-old to deal with this?
Well, it's time will tell. I hope not. Look, if you're an overnight sensation like he will be in his country and all over the world, at the end, look, go have fun, go make party, do whatever you want. But man, when it's time, you sort of set a deadline, because at the end of the day, what's more fun than making a party? Kicking people's asses on the bikes.
Yeah,
that's a lot more fun. I don't care how many jizzies you got lined up taking you to the parties. But it's a lot more. He had more fun today. I hope. I mean, if I were him, I'd have had that would have been like the best fun of my life. That's way better than any other party. So, but look, people get, and we don't even need to go down this road because we don't know this kid, and we don't know, and he deserves to have fun. But man, that was
the life of a Tour de France winner. You know better than anybody is you got to live like a monk. So you can do all this fun stuff in the off season, but come spring, you better start shutting all that stuff down, and your life is going to be very boring. If it's not boring, then you ain't doing it right.
Well, you love what you. I mean, I loved what I did, and he's got good people around him. I mean, Alan Piper is arguably one of the smartest people in the sport.
Yeah, agreed. I worked very closely with Alan on the high road days, and we're still in close contact.
He's a great guy. He's been around this game for a long time. I don't. Maybe he did see this coming, but. Pogacar's got good people around him.
The other thing that's kind of hard to swallow is when you process all this is Jumbo-Visma rode an amazing race as a team.
Today or
just in general, the whole tour. Whole tour, they were on point. And then you have this smaller UAE team taking the... That's just unreal.
Yeah, Mr. Momentum.
I'm heartbroken for the whole team. I mean, how can we see the team that dominant again next year? How can Primoz be in that same position? I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for us to see them at the same level, the same dominance. And, he had every card in his hand for this Tour de France, and he lost it.
I mean, the dinner table tonight, the Jumbo-Visma dinner table, it would be like a funeral.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a funeral.
I'm going to play a little Name That Tune real quick with you guys. All right?
Oh, I know this one.
Name the song.
Oh, that's from Star Wars? That's out of Star Wars.
No, that's the Slovenian national anthem.
The Slovenian, that country's going crazy.
Can you imagine the parade they're planning?
And by the way, they are not just in cycling, in so many other sports, they are coming up as a sports force, right? I mean, whether it's the NBA or tennis, and I mean, they're,
2 million people in the whole country.
2 million people, they're first and second in the Tour.
First and second in the Tour. And JB, I got to go back to your comment.
By the way, where is Slovenia? Nusa. And a big shout out to our translator slash.
Yeah, we haven't heard from her in a while.
But Nusa, we need to hear from you. Our Nusha, that too. Our pronunciation expert. We have Alain and we have Nusha. How excited must she be?
Mm-hmm.
I got to go back to your comment earlier, and Lance, you mentioned it as well. Like he thanked the team right away as soon as he came in. Lance, like the team didn't do anything. You mentioned the team's a small team; they're not doing anything. Jumbo's doing all the work. Y'all, that's some BS. I mean, they had to keep him out of trouble the whole time. They might not be at the front pulling, but they're doing trust me, I know because I did that my whole career. That's a lot of hard work. The man got through the whole Tour de France without crashing, stayed safe, in position when he needed to be, didn't waste energy moving up through the peloton. That's what it takes to win the Tour de France, y'all. He had a good team for that.
You better read the book. All right. I didn't say the team did nothing, but because I have too much respect for Alan Piper and anybody that wants to do the Tour de France. They didn't do nothing, but they had a free ride. I mean, they quote unquote drafted off Jumbo-Visma, which of course they should have done. You know, it was totally stress free for them.
I highly disagree. They were in this race like they said many times. We're not racing to keep second place. We're racing to win. So they had all the pressure. They put all the pressure on themselves to stay in the front, to stay out of trouble. Yeah, they might not be up there setting the pace, but it's just as hard to keeping your guy up in the front.
And by the way, it's as shocked as I am and as heartbroken as I am for Primož Roglic. I'm actually, a part of me is unbelievably excited and happy because for the first time in a long time, the best climber in the race will wear the polka dot jersey on the Champs-Élysées.
This was cracking me up this morning. All of a sudden, this man over here, Lance Armstrong, is interested and excited about the polka dot jersey.
I am
talking shit for 3 weeks about the polka dot jersey, and today's like
4 years.
I need points. Who got these points? Is Pogacar going to get it? What's going on with Carapaz? I'm like, what? All of a sudden, you give a shit about the polka dot jersey.
I do because because the best man in the race should wear the yellow jersey, and the best climber should wear. Yeah, come on. And the best, Sam Bennett, clearly demonstrated he's the best sprinter. He deserves the green jersey. So now we have a worthy and deserving wearer or champion of the polka dot jersey. By the way, I looked up, you asked me, George, for those that are completely shocked, nobody predicted this. Only one person, Alan Piper. And I don't know what Pogacar was thinking, but so just not that long ago, just before the Tour, they did the Slovenian time trial championships. It was short. It was only 15K. So just under 10, 15.7, so just under 10 miles. Pogacar beat Roglic by 9 seconds. So,
That's it.
Yeah, so it's a little under a second per kilometer. But, boy, 2 minutes today. As you know what that is? I'm gonna give him the boomstick, obviously.
We got to know, I mean, clearly Roglic was off of his game.
Clearly.
I mean, he's been the best climber in the race next to Pogacar. Always right there. Anytime Pogacar attacks, he's right on the wheel. Never showed one slight minion of weakness. Not one slight. And all of a sudden today he gets 5th place. I mean, he had 4 guys that were way faster than him. Something was off. We even said it throughout, like he just did not look right.
Cadence too high, not comfortable on the bike.
Like Bobby Julich said, really high cadence, no power.
Yeah,
and that's what was going on with him today.
Kids, high cadence is good. Anything above 100 starts to be inefficient. That's a fact. The bicycle chain is not efficient after above 100.
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
This is going to be good.
And I'm going to say this is probably the best Tour de France I've ever witnessed by far, or have watched as a kid. I don't think we've ever seen a Tour de France this exciting.
I agree. I mean,
best single day you've ever seen as well.
And today, I mean, we were just
that's the best performance I've ever seen.
Yeah, best performance.
People will talk about the time trial in 1989. This is a different thing, right? This is truly mano a mano. Because then when you go back to that, you know the aerodynamic advantage with the first person. And kudos to Le Mans for choosing to use the bars. But this was mano a mano, and he just kicked his ass. I mean, it was crazy.
What would you guys say to Pogacar if you had him alone, just to chat?
You are one bad mofo.
Yeah, I'd still be speechless. By the way, too, he's going to wear 3 jerseys in Paris. So he's going to wear the yellow jersey, the polka dot jersey, and the white jersey. Hasn't been done since 1969 when Eddie Merckx had green, polka dot, and yellow. They didn't have a white jersey then. Crazy. Hey, today's show also brought to you by LMNT. I talk about this brand all the time, and I got no skin in the game here. But I love it. It's the one I've stumbled across for hydration that for me, as somebody who just sweats his face off all the time, it's been the best solution I've come up with to remedy that, right? And so 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. It's a total replacement for me. And when you're behind on hydration, folks, it all starts to suffer. And we're going to start to hear, Roglic is going to talk about the way he felt, or the something was wrong, right? And so I'm not saying he was dehydrated, but dehydration would be a big, big issue. If you don't like it, money back guarantee. They say keep it, give it to one of your salty friends. Head on over to drinklmnt.com/themove. All right, last one here. Today's show also brought to you by Ventum, a.k.a. the damn rocket ship. The NS1 is one of the sweetest road frames I've ridden on. It's what I've been biking on for the last few months. They're also the official global bike partner of Ironman, which Richie Porte might go on and win one day. But they're giving away a free bike. So get on over to ventumracing.com/themove. Register to win a free bike. 20% off if you want to buy a bike. 20% off till the end of October. ventumracing.com/themove. Yeah, man. And the other thing that I with this, and we talked a lot about the bike changes, and they all seem to go pretty smooth. But how'd you like to be? I mean, what does a mechanic make, George? $50,000 a year?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yep, around there.
How'd you like to be the guy that makes $50,000 a year with that pressure? Okay, hey buddy, just jump out, JB, grab that bike and go. Nothing's on. Don't worry about it. Just get it off and hand it to him. Make sure.
In a perfect.
I mean,
push,
if you fumble that thing, dude, that's too much pressure for a guy that he needs to make more money.
Yeah, and we actually pointed out that Primus's bike change that didn't even look great compared to Pogacar's, which we mentioned yesterday that Pogacar had done this time trial 3 times. Had done one full-on race simulation. They had the timing of the bike change down to a T. They knew exactly how much time they were going to lose doing that. Everything was all dialed in. We got to point out some of the guys stayed on time trial bikes the whole way. So I thought that was interesting.
Dumoulin did, yeah.
He stayed on for the whole way. But a lot of these guys are so comfortable in these time trial positions that they can choose to ride up it, which I probably would have definitely used my road bike. But it was interesting tactics out there today.
And the story, speaking of Richie Porte, the story of Richie Porte, there for about 10 or 20 minutes, he had basically the same time as Dumoulin.
Yeah. A couple hundredths of a second.
Tenths of a second, right? And then, of course, Pogacar came through and said, no, let's just watch this. He said, watch this. But would have been the first stage win for Trek. Yeah. But Richie Porte does move on to the podium, which is,
incredible ride by Richie Porte today. But the whole Tour de France, what we've seen him in the last couple tours when he came in as a favorite or one of the podium contenders. I mean, just never made it through stage 9, always crashing, getting in trouble. So even today, I was kind of nervous watching him go around these corners. Like, please don't crash, Richie. Please don't crash. He's a great guy. I'm personally very excited to see him on the podium. I'm a little bit, concerned about his decision to go on to race for Ineos next year as a domestique. And I'm pretty sure he might be scratching his head right now as well.
We think he's coming into prime.
I mean, look,
right?
now he knows he can do it.
No, what are you talking about? You just said at the top of the show that you think Roglic is done because all these young guys are coming through, and Roglic. How old's Richie Porte?
That's not my point. Is
what is
Richie just popped up into the podium? Primoz has been our favorite. He's had the best Tour de France, the best team in the Tour de France. He's had everything lined up. All the stars were aligned for Primoz. Where Richie, we didn't know if he was going to make it through the Tour without crashing. And here he is on the podium now.
I'm still, folks, and I was getting blown up. It's so fun to, you always get messages from sort of usual suspects like, oh, what do you think? I was getting messages from people. I was like, wait, you motherfuckers watch bike races? Like it was coming
likewise,
left, right, and center, getting blown up. And people were like, I cannot, this is amazing. And it's just.
Richie's 35, by the way.
35.
Oh, okay, there you go, George. He's coming up, isn't he? Time to do the Ironman, Richie.
I might retract that statement, but guys, we got to talk about this too. We're seeing a whole new game change in terms of the ages of people, hitting their peaks. 21 years old, Tour de France winner, a 35-year-old third placer. I mean,
right.
What's going on?
By the way, that's, and I'm not being critical, Richard, but that's also an exceptional performance to get third in the Tour at 35 years old, dude.
Yeah.
But we always talk about these young guys. I mean, now we're talking about Pogacar. Last year we talked about Bernal, but you got guys like Remco and who knows what Wout van Aert can do. Look what he did in the time trial. Yep. It's an uphill time trial. This is a fucking cyclocross racer.
Yeah.
You got fourth in an uphill time trial after having worked for 3 weeks and contested the sprints. And it's, by the way, they showed his crash on TV again from last year. Dude, I had to look away.
I'm going to say it again. Wout van Aert has got to be the favorite for the World Championships next weekend.
Did you already say that?
I think I have.
I don't think you did. I think you were
in my mind. I might have said it, but the way he's riding, he can do everything right now, and he's going to have a really strong team behind him. The Belgian team is going to be one of the best teams in the race. That's going to be some fun to watch that.
Speechless. It's just amazing. It's one of the best sporting, not just cycling performance. It's one of the best sporting performances I've ever seen. I've never been that shocked. I mean, I guess if you go back, we were actually at that Super Bowl, the Patriots down 30 plus at halftime.
25 points.
Or whatever. And to come back, I was speechless there. Like, I was like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's the same feeling and emotion now.
That's nuts. Great point. Yeah, we were all kind of blown away by that.
God. I think you left early for that game, didn't you?
No, Brody, our buddy Brody was like, oh, this game's over. We're going to head home. I go, hell no, I ain't going home. I made that mistake with our boy Jimmy Johnson when he won number 7.
We also, unfortunately, had this lady sitting behind us. She was she was a Falcons fan. So every time Tom Brady would get the ball, she sat behind us for 4 hours. Every time he got the ball, sack his ass. Sack his ass. She said sack his ass 1,000 times.
So we started playing a drinking game. Every time she said sack his ass, we had to take a chug of our drink.
Oh, our man, Brody, I didn't realize Brody's here. Brody, just step in here. I want the whole world to see this T-shirt you're wearing. This is Brody.
Step back
this,
here.
And
Mr.
we're not
Brody
gonna
Glenn, y'all.
We're not going to let him talk, but look at that T-shirt. Betty Ford Clinic. Who wears a T-shirt like that?
I was afraid we were going to have to go there.
Yeah, a birthday dinner. You might have to go over there. Spend a couple days, clean up your act.
So now we got to talk about. Okay, obviously the race is over. These guys.
Can I just interrupt?
Go ahead.
Because people ask a lot, right? Is it over? I mean, tomorrow technically is a race day, right?
Yep.
And this has never happened that I know of. It still counts. There, weird shit can still happen. And I'm not saying it's going to, but people ask like, oh, is this just ceremonial and is it over?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's over.
Not for the sprinters.
But it's still very, I was
it still counts.
Very nervous when I was coming on with you in the Shams, worried about this freak crash, all this stuff.
I would never.
The times when I came on with your boy Contador, with Cadell Evans, the same feeling like this, we better not screw this up here because there's a chance something can happen, but most likely it won't.
I mean, if just, and again, well, let's not even go there because I don't want to project, but it counts, right?
Well, it definitely counts for the sprinters. It's going to be a huge battle for that. But I mean, tomorrow is just the first part of the stage is just basically a parade of sorts. People drinking champagne, hanging out with your buddies. Nobody's attacking. It's a great stage of cycling where you get to the Champs-Élysées, whether you're winning or not. It's a good feeling. It's a great feeling.
Have we heard more about what they plan to do with so many people? I mean, typically there's millions of people around the Champs-Élysées.
Well, there was a lot on the climb today. There was a
lot of folks.
Concerning.
The projected weather the other day in Paris was rain, and now we're looking at partly cloudy, partly sunny. I don't know. How do you know what's what? But anyways, it's going to be sunny. Because it sucks riding on the Champs-Élysées in the rain, folks. It looks like a little promenade, but it's not. I mean,
it's bumpy, isn't it?
It's cobbled,
very slick,
and it's so much very slippery. So even when it's dry, it's slippery.
Yeah.
But did I ever tell you the story about that time I took an Uber from the airport to my hotel and right in the middle of town?
Mm-mm.
I never told you this.
No.
This is a great story. So this is years ago, but it's post sort of meltdown, and I'm just persona non grata. But I don't know. I went over to Paris or something, and so I get land and I get in an Uber and I have like there's France had all of these territories over time, these African territories, and so they have the basically citizenship or the rights to come to France and work, and they speak French, and so this guy, I don't know, he's from like Sierra Leone or something, big old dude, and we get off the Périphérique and we drive down and we kick it around the Arc de Triomphe and we get on the Champs-Élysées and I'm not shitting you, and I'm just in the back minding my own business. He goes, "Alors, this is the Champs-Élysées." And I'm like, No shit. He had no idea. I was just like, yeah.
I've seen this.
I've been here a few times before. He had no idea. I was like, thank you, man. That's cool.
That's funny.
And it's true. And it has the added benefit of being true.
Do you guys even want to make a pick for tomorrow? I think people would be disappointed if you didn't.
Yeah.
Caleb Ewan.
I'm going to go with Christoph. He's won there before. And he's we haven't seen him really since the first stage. And I think he's been eyeing that last stage for a while.
And apologies.
And they're in the yellow jersey. So think about that.
Oh, man. That party is going to be, if he were to win, it's going to be a big party anyway.
We got some sheiks rolling in for that shit.
Do we?
I mean,
on
I
the jizzies?
I would guess.
Them sheiks are going to get on the jizzies. Why not? I mean, if I was a sheik, think about that. Okay, Sheik Armstrong. And I lived in Dubai. Okay, already this is a bad start to the story. And I had a bike team. I would be getting on my jizzy and going to Paris. It's not like you got to go to fucking Baghdad. I would be on the jizzy right now.
How long has that team been around? Not that long.
I want to say 2-3 years.
Wow.
And true story, many of the sheiks over there love cycling. I mean, they're not just sponsoring a team for
I wouldn't be surprised if Pogacar gets in the jizzy and goes to the UAE.
Really?
I mean, why not?
Let's start it right.
He's probably going to go UAE, then Slovenia. Homie's going to be partying hard.
In the jizzy.
Whoa.
And I know everybody loves to hear us talk for hours and hours on end. At least I hope. So just ahead of time or in advance, I apologize. This is going to be a bit of a shorter show just because I got to go to Indianapolis, which is a very special place for me, actually. I'm giving a speech there tonight, which I don't know how they do that amidst all this, but I guess I'll tell you later. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Wait, so it's just going to be JB and I tomorrow? You're going to leave us?
No,
hanging?
I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow.
You got to finish the race, bro.
I'll be here. I have a special outfit for tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Tease that out.
Yep.
But obviously Indianapolis, near and dear to my heart. I was treated there in 1996, which is, I'm coming up on my 24-year anniversary. But without that city and without Dr. Larry Einhorn and everybody at Indiana University and the whole institution there, I'd be 6 feet under. Think about that. So it's cool. It's cool for me to go back.
I would have visited your grave, though.
Appreciate that. And also that's, boy, that is sweet.
On your birthday.
George, here, you know what?
I didn't say
For saying shit like that, JB, I'd like to give you a copy of Permission to Feel.
Oh, I actually read
this. You should read it. You should read it. Okay. You have been cranky lately. Maybe you need to up your EQ.
Yeah.
Huh? Permission to Feel.
The man is becoming, this is changing. You're becoming sentimental. You got a heart now.
Turning 50 is permission to be cranky.
Right.
We got a whole new LA here.
Did anybody else notice as Roglic was finishing, I looked at him and I was like, holy shit, Keanu Reeves is in the Tour de France.
He looks so disheveled at the end.
He looked like Keanu Reeves, like his face. Like everybody thought Matrix was cool. The guy's now in the Tour de France. But are we going to skip?
A couple quick comments,
okay,
real quick.
Quickies.
And then one question, because a lot of people have asked about this. One comment from Sully Solster. I got he's quoting you. I got third in the 2009 Tour de France, and I hated every effing second of it. Mm-hmm. Best line of the podcast.
True.
Hilarious.
Fact. What's his name?
Sully Solster.
Sully Higgs. I didn't realize your son is sending emails. We are so hurting that we got our kids sending in comments, but Sully, that's a fact.
Lance, JB, and George, in addition to a great Tour de France coverage, mucho thanks for turning me on to Ventum Racing. Just ordered a fully loaded NS1.
Love it.
Got my 20% discount.
Great.
Awesome deal on an awesome bike. Thank you. That's Scott in Tallahassee. And then a lot of people are asking about post-race, and I think it is a weird year with World Championships and stuff like that. But Gordon writes, after 3 weeks on the bike like this, what do you do afterwards? Someone was just asking George that a little bit.
Well, this is a crazy.
Well, this is a different situation.
Yeah, it's a very different year.
Some guys will just sit around, do nothing. Other guys got to stay on. You can't rest too much because your body will shut down if you want to race well at the Worlds. It's not like you can just take it easy. You got to do a little bit of a stimulation to your body to get the muscles, keep them going for a race like the World Championships. And this is such a condensed, highly packed season that a lot of these guys won't even get to rest much at all.
Ask your sources if Pogacar is going to race the Worlds. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's just got better and better throughout. That's the only thing I'll say about Roglic and that was our fear in the beginning is did he overcook it before the Tour, and is the last week, a bit of a letdown for him? We saw that today, and you saw the opposite with Pogacar, who just kept getting stronger and stronger. So if you're thinking, all right, here's my trajectory, you won't be a world champion. Nobody's going to hang with him on the climb.
Not to, just to, the hype if he shows up at World Championships.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of people will be tuning in to see if he can.
It's in Italy.
I'd love to know.
Where's Italy?
We probably will never know, but Primus's power numbers today, what he was able to do on the climb, and how much less than what he's normally able to do. I mean, something was clearly going on there.
Yep. I mean, when we're just reliving this because it is truly a shocker. Yep. And when he lost so much time on the flat section, I was just like, all right, well, maybe that's smart. Just save it. Ride 90%. You can lose that much time riding 90%, and then just hit it on the climb.
Yep.
And by the way, this virtual GC stuff that they had on the TV, real time with the GPS on the bikes, leave that on TV.
Yeah, that was
whoever's making the decision, leave that on there. That was crazy to watch the gap come down and then bam, flip. That was amazing. But wasn't his day. Yep. I feel for the dude. I sent him a message. Not that he's going to read my message, but I love the guy, man. I love his whole story. Shit. I feel terrible. Not to end on a bad note. George, say something rosy. Say something rosy.
That's kind of a downer. The only thing rosy I can say is that this is the best Tour de France I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
I mean, the most exciting by far.
Yep. I agree with that.
Wow.
All right, kids. We'll see you all tomorrow. Final day's coverage of the Tour de France by the Move team, and a special surprise on the apparel side tomorrow, because our boss is making us. So, see you all tomorrow.